Welcome to the Intuitive Empire Podcast, the place for coaches, healers, network marketers, and awakened souls who are all about creating success on their own terms. We are here to rise, and in doing so, we must honor our sensitive selves, activate our intuition, and lead with light. We are the ones we've been waiting for, the change makers, wayseers, and trailblazers. Join me, Jaya Rose, as we step fully into luminous leadership and create epic, intuitive empires that serve the highest good of all. Ready? Let's go. Hey, babe. Welcome back to the Intuitive Empire Podcast. I am excited to riff on a not so sexy topic, but it is kind of sexy because it is super powerful. And I'm going to give you a little backstory, and then I'm just going to straight up ask you the question, what do you require? And I'm going to break down exactly what that means and how it can up-level your life today and every day from now on. When I was in my second marriage 12 years ago, I started realizing that the same exact feelings were coming up in that marriage as came up in the first marriage I was in 10 years before that. I started young. And I was like, what the heck? I feel the same way about this guy as I did about the other guy. And I realized that it was me, that I was the one that was picking these people who played out these patterns. And, you know, personal development 101, it was the opportunity to take responsibility. And I went to the therapist I have spoke about on this show. So maybe you've heard me talk about Lewis Quimby. And he was a 70-year-old man who had been doing relationship coaching for 30 plus years. He knew his shiz and he had no mercy. None. He did not care about your feelings whatsoever. And I was like, I really care about my feelings. What are you talking about? Everybody cares about my feelings, but not him. No, he didn't care, because I would cry and I would break down and he would just wait until I got clarity. And what was so incredibly powerful about that is that I learned how to get clarity. I learned how to see myself in the true light of who I am with all the dysfunctions and all, and to really get clear on what I wanted out of my life and what I was willing to put up with. And a lot of it started with the question, what do you require? And I remember him asking me this question. And at first I was like, well, that's a weird question. That's definitely not something I've been asked before. And then it got really uncomfortable because I started writing down what I required, but it was definitely through the lens of codependency and control. Like I would write down, I require that you give me attention. I require that you feel happy. Like just really non-individual type things. Like, where is his individuality? Where is mine? And it was all based in the idea that he wasn't doing these things. So then I required them from him, and that didn't work out very well. And so it ended up taking me 3 months to actually write a list of what I require in relationships for my life before I got the stamp of approval from Lewis. And it was earth-shattering, mind-shattering, relationship-shattering, actually, because what became blaringly obvious was that what I required when actually asked that question, like what I fully required with or without this guy in my life, these are my requirements, right? It was going to dissolve our marriage. We weren't going to be able to get married unless he was willing to change. And that was not an option. He was not willing to change. He wasn't willing to go to therapy with me. And he just wasn't on the same journey. And that's fine. But what ended up happening is like this understanding that if I would have just owned up to what I required in the first place, I wouldn't have married him. And if I would have known what I required in relationships, it wouldn't be my second failed marriage by the age of 30. And this carried on to be a real foundation of growth for me, and also a platform to change from consistently and to be in my power in relationships and in business and in a relationship with myself, to really check in with this. And I'm going to talk to you today about actually being an entrepreneur and being a highly sensitive, driven business owner who has requirements for thriving in your life, but some of it may not seem like it's possible because the way everything is set up, by the way, if you have an online business, by the way online marketing is set up or content creation is set up, by the way it's looked at to get your needs met. And so I want to turn this on you and say, give you the opportunity to really ask yourself, what do I require? Now, this is something that I teach in my 7-phase embody method. This is the method that comes with the throat chakra, and it comes right after we determine your soul story, and also then we get into needs and requirements and then desires. And I have found that this is so incredibly powerful and life-changing for the women who take my program. And I wanted to share it with you and give you a little bit of the coaching I do around it, and really this knowledge on how to use this in your life to be able to be fulfilled in what you're doing, and also to move to your next level with an understanding and a foreshadowing of what you're going to need as you move forward. So if you don't know about my Embody program, it's not open now, but the doors are going to open again in September. And if you like what you're hearing here and you are interested in support, then keep your eyes out for that. So what I want you to think about is requirements being non-negotiable. And I think this is where it comes in a little gray, right? So I want you to think about your needs. Like, I have a need to go to bed at 10 p.m. and I have a need to eat healthy food. But sometimes your needs don't get met, right? Like, we all understand this, that not every time, every second in your life are your needs going to get met. But a requirement has the feeling that there's going to be a consequence, right? There's going to be a consequence. If you require something and it didn't happen, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe you need to make a new agreement. You need to ask for something differently. Something needs to shift and change. And I want you to understand that these things that you require are what are setting up your entire life. And in the Embody program, we go through multiple phases. We talk about money, we talk about relationships, we talk about our health and our bodies, we talk about our business. And so today, I'm just going to narrow it down and just talk to you about business, because I know that most people who listen to this are in business for themselves. But even if you're not and you work for someone else or you're wanting to start a business, this is going to apply to you, because the more you understand what you require to thrive, the more you can communicate it clearly to other people. And also, it will create a lot of like your marketing plan and a lot of your business plan for you. And so if you already have a business plan and you're like, oh boy, I'm feeling burnt out, I am not feeling like my needs are getting met, I'm sacrificing a lot, I want to invite you to go back to the drawing board and say, you're missing an opportunity to establish what you require. And if you're just starting out, then start here and come back here. Because we live in this era of possibility. The new paradigm of possibility is not, it does not have the same rules. It does not have the same rules as what we were taught when we were younger, that it has to be hard, that you have to grind, that you have to hustle, that you have to, in quotes, put the work in. It's not true. You can have it however you want it. It is so incredibly easy to connect with people online, to make sales online, to create digital programs that serve your community and your clients while you're not. I mean, this is a really great place to start, especially if you're highly sensitive, to think about, where am I hooked in to the idea that it must be me who delivers the transformation and I have to show up for every single thing that's happening in my business or nothing will move forward. Like, where are you thinking that? Because here's an invitation to unhook that belief and recognize that there can be another way, or I wouldn't be standing here talking to you about this. You wouldn't see models of it happening, and it's happening. There are many, many people who have easeful lives, but are also making a big impact and making a really good income as well. So, one of the requirements I have for my business is that I make enough income to support my life so that I can nurture myself, nurture my sensitivities, and have time freedom. Because when I have those things, I actually show up more potently, for example, here on this podcast or with my clients or in a live video, wherever it really counts that I'm showing up. And it's taken time to understand that this was a requirement of mine. But when I wasn't actively understanding it and knowing it, it wasn't in alignment. So, a lot of times, what can happen in your life or business is that things don't feel like they're in alignment. And it's because you literally don't have requirements. So, thinking about your business or the way that you make money or, your passion, your purpose, where can you do this identifying work to really think about, what do I require? What do I require for my income, for my impact, for my well-being, for my time? And maybe the business model you're using doesn't even support that. And it's time to get clear about that. Or like I said, maybe you're creating one and you're thinking about a business plan. But I feel like part of my mission here with the Intuitive Empire podcast is to create a revolution around what's possible. And what I know is that the more I tune into what I need, I get the guidance. This is about being spirit led, about having a spiritual business that is fully spiritual, meaning not just your marketing and your content is spiritual, but you are spiritual, and the way that you put yourself out there in the world, and that means you're following the guidance. And so I'll probably do another episode on how exactly I have done this, how I've transitioned from having a more masculine business model into having a more feminine business model, definitely leveraging the masculine to take action 100%. But also, it's all built on the self-knowledge and the understanding of what I require. And if you're feeling like you need a shift in your life, this is such a good place to start. So what I'm offering you right now is this opportunity to go deeper with yourself. And whether it's with your business or your health or your relationships or your money, look at what you require in your life. And maybe you require something that you're not even admitting to yourself. And I promise you that when you admit it out loud, the pieces will come in to support you. You are being supported at the level in which you're asking for right now. You're asking to be supported in hustle, then you're going to get that support. If you're asking to be supported in flow and guidance, you're going to get that support. The universe does not care what you ask for. It's just you. It's just you and what you're willing to ask for. And it definitely starts with unhooking the ideas that it has to be hard, or that, what you desire and require isn't relevant because you just have to do it a certain way. And that's just not true. It's just not true. The desires that you have on your heart right now are meant for you. You see them as possibility because they are possible, period. They are possible and you are meant for them. And as you shift into this understanding that it's the foundation you build within yourself of knowing yourself and knowing what you desire, require, and need, oh my goodness, you really do become unstoppable, especially as a highly sensitive, because one of the core fears we have as highly sensitive is that our needs aren't going to be met. And we are always caught up in this fight or flight. Let me make sure that my needs are met until we really own what those needs are. And we tend to just kind of push through or just hide away. And this is that opportunity to get really clear on understanding that you don't have to hide away. You just need to know that you need 3 hours in the morning and to give yourself that. It's like, I'm constantly doing this work where I analyze it and I'm like, you know what? I feel the best when I actually just do like one live video and record one podcast. That feels good to me. And another day, it might be one call with someone and a Vox or message with someone and creating some content. And I know that I flow the best when I have time and space in between things. I work from home, it feels easy. I work the best when it feels easy. I am available for a multiple six-figure business that supports me and my passions and my brilliance and thousands of people through my content. I am available for this abundance. That's what I'm available for. And it's all built actually on what I require in my life. And that equals what I'm available for. So check in with yourself. What are you stating to the universe that you're available for through your requirements? Because it starts with the foundational work. I'd love to know. Hit me up on Instagram, take a screenshot of this episode, and I'm the Jaya Rose on Instagram. If you haven't found me there yet, definitely follow me and go ahead and put it in your story and do a story about what you are deciding you're going to require, or just send me a message. I would love to hear from you. I always appreciate the shout outs on social media, but also when you talk about what's going on for you, you inspire other people. So knowing that when you're in a leadership position, you are responsible for showing up for yourself and also for other people. I mean, that's the whole thing with leadership, right? So I would love to hear how this affects you and just to give you permission to just say, honey, you deserve to have your requirements met. You deserve to know exactly what they are, no matter how different they are than what you were taught, no matter how many people think you're crazy or that it's not possible. It is fucking possible. It is possible because we don't live in this new paradigm of possibility for nothing. And we don't live in this time period where we are asked to be the pioneers and pave a new way for what is possible for the next generations so that we can suffer and be in the old model of what doesn't work. That is not what you're here for. I personally am unavailable for that, and I am inviting you to step on the unavailable train with me. Let's go. Choo choo. We're about to take off. Do you take off on a train? You know what I mean. We're going to roll down the tracks. It's just really important. It's really important. And that's what the intuitive empire is about. It's about being spirit-led, co-creating, knowing that it's not just on you, that you have a whole cheerleading squad available to you in spirit guides and in angels and in the universe and God, the God within you, supporting you. So why not tap into that? Why not make your life easier? Why not allow more abundance and flow and ease into your life through declaring on the human level what you require and what you're available for? All right. I hope this inspired you in some way. Take some action. Think about this. Go deep. Write it out. Tag me on social media. I'd love to hear about it. Okay. So much love to you. And I will see you next week on the Intuitive Empire podcast.